Today we're going to do more of a generic video talking about the best attributes by position inside of MLB The Show. We're going to start things off with the outfield, but if you do end up enjoying the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and do me a favor, check out the description box. You might find something that you enjoy inside there as well. So starting it off with the outfield, I'll let you guys know what the defensive attributes do, and this is going to be for every single position, but I'm just going to wrap it up here. So fielding is basically the animations you get on the field. If you are making a diving grab, it is more likely that a player with higher fielding attribute is going to successfully make that diving grab, or if it's a ball hitting the gap, sometimes outfielders get a little bit of a burst of speed and get into this catch over their head animation. And the higher the fielding is, the more likely is you're going to have success with that. Arm strength is basically how hard the ball comes in to the cutoff man or to the position you're throwing to. Accuracy is, if you're using button accuracy, how big the green margin is, as well as how big the perfect margin is for you to get. And then reaction is how good their first step is going to be. Early on inside the game cycle, especially because we don't have a lot of 99s, I think that everyone should be prioritizing first reaction and speed when it comes to any of these outfield positions. So when it comes to center field and when it comes to left field. And the reasoning behind it is that a fielder that has great reaction is going to, one, get a great first step, and then if you multiply that with speed, if it's something hit inside the gap, then he won't be as dependent on the fielding animations to actually make the grab, because he will most likely get there in time to actually not need that fielding animation. The only downside at times is that those players that have great speed and have great reaction don't generally have a good arm, and that might hurt you if you're ever trying to throw runners out going to whichever base. So a great example of this would be Corbin Carroll. Has great reaction, has great speed. Now let me tell you guys something else. Generally, your center fielders are going to be your best defensive outfielders. They're going to have the best fielding, they're going to have the best reaction, and they're going to have the best speed. Sometimes the best arm strength, but that's generally right fielders. What you need to know is that whenever you take a player and you play them at their secondary position, their attributes are actually going to drop. So for example, we're going to look at Michael Harris once again. You see he has 80 fielding, 84 arm strength, 92 accuracy, 82 reaction. When we place Michael Harris at left field, he now has 76 fielding, 84 arm strength, and 77 reaction. So what happened there, you might ask yourself? Well, whenever you play a player at a secondary position, their attributes actually go down by 4. So what does that do to someone like Michael Harris, you might ask? Well, if we look at Michael Harris, once again, you will see that he has 80 fielding and 82 reaction. Now, the way you get animations and good steps, etc. in this game is based on the tier that the player has defensively. So 80 to 89, which is what Michael Harris has right now, is gold fielding animations. 90 to 99 are diamond fielding animations. 70 to 79 are silver fielding animations. 60 to 69 are bronze fielding animations, and anything below that will be common. The same thing goes for reaction, same thing goes for arm strength, and the same thing goes for arm accuracy, and basically any attribute that does not go above 99, the same thing will apply to. So speed, stealing, base running, aggressiveness, all of that it applies to. So Michael Harris playing left field will drop from giving you gold fielding animations to now silver fielding animations until you get him to parallel 4. Same thing with his reaction. Instead of getting gold reactions, he is now going to actually give you silver reaction animations, which will make him maybe inferior to a much better defensive left fielder that you have that could perform just like he can with the bat. So it's important whenever you go ahead and switch a center fielder to whatever corner outfield spot you want to take him to, or a fielder in general to any other position, that you go ahead and look at those attributes and say to yourself, okay, am I losing more by playing him here instead of this other guy, or am I gaining more? And then allowing that to make the decision for you. But one thing I do have to say before we even continue this is, if it's a player that you just want to genuinely play with and want to enjoy, then you shouldn't care about any of this, and you should just go ahead and play with whatever it is that you do enjoy playing with. So continuing on, we're going to talk about the corner infielders here. We got first base and third base. We're going to leave second base and shortstop basically as their own too. But for first and third base, I'll be completely honest with you all. Fielding and reaction matters, but it does not matter to the same extent as outfield. It does not matter to the same extent as the middle infield. You can get away with having a first baseman or third baseman that has horrible fielding, horrible reaction, horrible defensive attributes in general. The only thing that might get you a little irritated is that balls hit down the line, they are going to miss in terms of being able to dive and at least knock it down and stop it from getting to the wall. And relatively easy plays that will require them to get with good range, they would most likely also miss as well. So that might get you a little bit irritated, but it's something that a lot of people surpass whenever they are looking at the corner infield positions. What they prioritize, and what I would tell you to prioritize as well, is just having great hitters at those corner infield positions. Look for someone that has great clutch and great power. And that's also what you're going to look for the outfield once you have players that have good reaction and good speed out there. You want the best hitters that have those two attributes out there, because clutch to me is more important than contact, because contact is when runners are not in scoring position, and when runners are in scoring position, those are probably the most crucial points of the game. So you want guys that are going to have bigger PCIs, and guys that have great clutch have bigger PCIs, because clutch replaces the contact attribute whenever there are runners in scoring position, meaning whenever there is a runner on second or third or both at the same time. So you look for clutch and you look for power. What vision does is it affects the swing timing. So someone like Aaron Judge will not be as good as Willie McCovey, because Aaron Judge just has way lower vision than Willie McCovey. Same thing with someone like Kyle Manzardo. His swing timing won't be as great because he has lower vision as well. But generally speaking, inside the corner infielders, you sacrifice the fielding, you sacrifice the reaction, and you go ahead and get yourself some great bats. These two positions are two great positions to play players at their secondary positions, because, as I just said, the fielding and reaction is not as important. The only thing I would like to add as a disclaimer for first base, of course, is that if your first baseman does not have great fielding and you are not using button accuracy, or even if you are using button accuracy and you get some yellow throws, first basemen that don't have great fielding are less likely to scoop the ball, therefore allowing more infield singles, when if you had a much better fielding first baseman, they would have just scooped it no problem. We're going to go now to the middle infield, which is second and shortstop. Second and shortstop, this is where I would emphasize on having fielding as more of an important factor than reaction. Even though reaction is still great for those middle infield positions and it's still something you want to look at, fielding I feel like overpowers it, because the fielding animations that you can get for a shortstop, especially if it's someone that has 90 fielding, for example, like I believe Francisco Lindor is close to. Actually, he's not that close at all. I don't know if there is a defensive, okay, perfect, Willie Adames. So a 91 fielding shortstop is going to get the best shortstop animations other than a 99 fielding shortstop, which means that his range is going to be exceptional. Whenever there is a ball hit in between the gap of third or in between second and short, his dive is going to be like a Superman dive, where he dives much further than the regular shortstop. So that's why I say that fielding is a bit more important, because it allows you to go ahead and get those Superman dives out of the way and prevent singles from actually occurring. Another thing that's important for a shortstop, obviously, is going to be having great arm strength. In order to get a lot of double plays done, especially whenever people start getting higher overall cards, you need the arm strength, because speed comes with higher overall cards, and beating out double plays is more likely to happen. Another disclaimer I do want to say, although, about shortstops and middle infielders is, whenever you are playing a player at a secondary position, especially these two positions, shortstop and second base, for some reason, double plays take much longer and their animations are also a lot more awkward. So that's why fielding is also more important for these two, just so you have better fielding animations as a whole when it comes to turning double plays, because they are the two positions that turn the majority of double plays in general. After that, as I said previously, you're looking for power and you're looking for clutch. Those are going to be the two most important hitting attributes. Of course, you want some contact as well, but contact does not truly become the most important attribute until you start hitting Hall of Fame, Legend difficulty, but in particular Legend difficulty. But if you're cracked out of your mind, you could probably use that Gary Sanchez that comes from Team Affinity that has low contact, I believe, against lefties, and still destroy whoever you're facing because you're just cracked out of your mind. When it comes to catching, on the other hand, catching is a little different when it comes to defensive. You're not looking for fielding, you're not looking for reaction, you're not looking for arm accuracy, you're looking for arm strength and blocking. And you might say to yourself, blocking is an actual important attribute in MLB The Show. For catchers, it is. I don't know how many of you guys have used that Gary Sanchez or have used a catcher in general that has terrible blocking. But this year is not like previous years. If your catcher has around 50 blocking or lower, or just underneath bronze tier levels, a pitch in the dirt, they most likely are going to let it go to the backstop, or if they successfully block it, it's going to move drastically to the right or left, allowing the runner to advance. So blocking is very important defensively for a catcher, and then arm strength is also very important. I'd put blocking as number 1 and then arm strength as number 2, because blocking, you're trying to strike out hitters more, and I'd say it happens more often than you trying to throw runners out. Because people steal, but unless you know how to steal 100%, you're not trying to steal every single time you get a speed runner on first base. But arm strength is what's going to allow you to gun them down without a problem, as well as other advantages such as having a pitcher from the stretch that's really quick with his delivery or taking a side step. After that, clutch and power is what you're looking for. When it comes to your designated hitter, you're going to put the best bat you have. You don't care about no fielding. You don't care about no speed. You don't care about any of that. All you care about is how much power, how much contact, and how much clutch does that player have. And something I would also like to add, so you guys know this, is you might think that base running aggressiveness, the attribute all the way to the right that I might be covering right now, is not an important attribute, but the higher it is, the more effectively your runners are going to round the bases. So if you have 99 speed but 0 base running aggressiveness, and you're matching up against somebody with 99 speed and 99 base running aggressiveness, he's going to actually have an inside the park home run a lot faster than someone with lower base running aggressiveness. The bench, in my honest opinion, is really up to the player. If you are righty heavy, you get some lefties on the bench, and vice versa. If you are balanced, then you can add some balanced players to the bench that will allow you to replace certain players when it comes to later innings that don't have great defensive attributes that you would like to feel a little more secure whenever a ball is hit out there. Let's go to the starting pitchers next. Now, for starting pitchers, hit per 9 is really important, and then pitching clutch is really important because that shrinks the PCI of your opponent, and we're talking about the contact PCI in particular. That's what's going to shrink it. The higher the hit per 9 is and the higher the pitching clutch is, it makes it a lot more difficult for them to have good contact when hitting your pitches. The K per 9 is important, but it's not really as important in my opinion, because K per 9 dictates the outer PCI, which is division PCI. So the ability to foul off pitches. And this year, just like in previous years of MLB The Show, you can foul off pretty much any pitch you get. So K per 9 doesn't really matter. Walk per 9, on the other hand, and control are two attributes that go hand in hand, especially if you are using pinpoint or in general using any of the interfaces. The higher the walk per 9 you have and the higher the control you have, the less of a gray circle you will have inside of the perfect area region, or I should say the smaller the circle will be, which will be better because you will get more pitches where you want it to be. But the lower it is, the higher it will be, and the more pitches you will leave hanging. So for starting pitchers in general, you're looking more towards their arsenal and then you look at their velocity, and then you look at the hit per nine, pitching clutch, walk per nine, as well as control. But to me, the two most important things are what's the arsenal the pitcher has, and then what's the velocity. For example, this John Smoltz, he could be okay on All-Star, but as you start facing good players in Hall of Fame and Legend, this guy is not going to be good at all because he only throws one fastball and then everything else is off speed. And good hitters sit fastball and then they react to everything else. So ideally, what you would want to have is a pitcher like Zach Wheeler. He has 3 fastballs. Generally, you aim for 2, but he has 3 fastballs. The only downside to Zach Wheeler is both of his off-speed pitches are more vertical movements than having one horizontal and then one vertical. So let's look at another pitcher, for example. Look at this one, Sandy Alcantara. Much better, good velocity, has 2 fastballs and a sinker and a four-seam, circle change, slider. That's a vertical off-speed and a horizontal off-speed, which is perfect. The only thing I will want to let you know is that most pitchers that have 2 fastballs, and the 2 fastballs are four-seam and two-seam, aren't as great as those that have a cutter or a sinker as their secondary and tertiary fastballs. I'm letting you know that right now. So ideally, you want a fastball and then a sinker or cutter or both as the second or third fastballs that the starting pitchers have. When it comes to the bullpen is pretty simple. You follow the same thing, same rubric as a starting pitcher, but you don't emphasize the arsenal as much because you can get away with a relief pitcher that only throws 3 pitches as long as they are not Edwin Diaz, in which 2 of the 3 pitches are fastballs and they're a four-seam and a two-seam instead of a four-seam and a sinker. And then as long as they're not someone like Jose Alvarado either, which you guys might be saying, why would he be bad? He throws the 3 fastballs you're looking for. Well, yeah, he throws the 3 fastballs we're looking for, but what does he throw after that? He doesn't have an off-speed pitch. He's literally a 3 fastball pitcher. And I don't know how that's even possible in real life. Well, I guess in real life it's possible, but I just don't know how it's possible inside the game for you to go ahead and face an opponent that brings him out and not just sit fastball and crush his pitches, because you're never going to get anything soft. Everything is coming 93 plus, so you might as well just sit hard and just go ahead, pause, not like that, and just go ahead and rock the pitches. But those are basically the attributes that you're looking for. You don't really care about stamina at all for starting pitchers or bullpen arms. You're just looking for good hit per nine, walk per nine, pitching clutch, and control, as well as velocity, of course, and then quirks. Quirks are going to be the second most important things when it comes to bullpen arms as well as starting pitchers. Or not the second most important things, but something else that you really want to look at and you really want to take advantage of. The higher the quirks are, or not the higher the quirks are, the more outliers the pitcher has, the better it is. And I'm only talking about outliers whenever it exceeds the max velocity limits. I'm not talking about break outlier. The more outliers they have on fastball, sinkers, etc., the much better you will be in terms of shape. If you did end up enjoying today's content, make sure you hit that like button or subscribe button, notification bell. Check out the description. You might find something you like, including the Discord, second MLB The Show channel, Twitch channel, as well as social medias. Make sure you're following if you are not already. And with that being said, have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed. Let me know what you want to see next, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.